Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gaming the Max and part 6 of our Hearts of Iron for the Old World Blues Enclave Redux mod. So, in the last episode, we took over Vault City and the Elko Posse up in the north. And when we ended our episode, we did click the decisions down here for restoring Carson City, U.S. Ordinance, Turquoise Solar Project, and the send a courier to the protection security hub right here. Um, and then someone told me not to do the Legends of the Sierra Madre until we were friends with the Brotherhood of Steel, or we had made peace with them. So we will hold back on doing that. We can't do it right now anyway. And they also said to try to take over the Sky Reavers and New Vegas. Right now, New Vegas is under Cassius Drusus, the Legion of Hades. Someone did ask me who I thought was going to win the Kaiser Civil War. I think it's going to be the Legion of Hades, just because they just look like they are the most. I don't want to say the most powerful right now, but they are winning by the looks of it. Then you have the Eastern Legion. I don't know if this has a focus to. Says no strings on me. Yeah, I don't think they come back over, but we'll see if these two declare war. If not, I still need to defeat the Eastern Legion. But what we were talking about in the comments from the last episodes was instead of fighting the NCR right now, because one thing, though they will become stronger the longer we wait, all of their attention will be pointed directly at us right now, and though we are strong, I mean we're pretty good in our strength and our technology. They have anywhere between 100 or 97 and 209 divisions, and that's just even if we have the best divisions, that's not going to help with with that big of an army attacking us. So what we're going to do is we're going to start knocking out the um, the eastern countries or the eastern territories like the 80s, the White Legs, uh, these areas up here, the Troll Warren, and then coming back down and fighting against the NCR. Okay, that's not passable right there. I was like, oh, if we take the Sky Reavers, that'll be passable. Um, and I think the Secrets of Area 51, we get a claim on their territory, but we also might get a claim down here. No, I think it's that one, yeah. We do need to restore the reactor. There's a couple things more to do with the Sierra Army Depot. Um, a couple more things to do here with the accepting ghouls and super mutants. Almost all of the NCR fight here to do, and then a lot of the Department of Defense, Arsenal, Democracy. A lot more to continue on for our focus tree. Um, I know for a fact this won't be the beginning of the war with the NCR. It probably won't happen for another 2 episodes. But we shall see. We'll see how long I can hold out paying off the uh the cost of it. Right now it's at 80 or 90, which isn't bad, but it does get to the point where it's just no longer economicable. And then you can fail them and then pay it back the next time, but you get a pretty massive debuff. So we will construct power grids for everywhere that needs it. And then the Yakuza, let me see. How much manpower do you have? 1,000? I don't even think they have anything in there. So we can modify their land lease. We can try to bring them back into the fold. This was just kind of an experiment. I just really wanted to see what would happen if we did do this. We got to get it down to federally occupied territory and then one more after that. So hopefully we get good news from the Protectron hub. Those will all be done in 2 days. So we'll do Restore Carson City, U.S. Ordnance, Solar Project, and the Protectron hub. All right. The rebirth of Carson City. It seems that Carson City is sharing the inverse of what is going on in New Reno. By the time our power armored troops and auxiliaries arrived, most of New Reno's gangs were on the last leg and surrendering. Thus, Carson City was spared much of the heavy urban fighting seen in New Reno. The inverse, however, is that while much of New Reno is being rebuilt, Carson City is being neglected. Well, was anyway. First and foremost, while New Reno is being set up as our temporary capital here in the West, we've suddenly found ourselves shorthanded on how to deal with the rest of the state, as most of our members are trying to deal with issues that are at a national level. This shortcoming could quickly, very quickly, come back to haunt us as the state collapses into a lawless wasteland. Now, some have suggested we use Vault City as the state capital, but we do not need the vault ruling over the entire state, and we need that power closer to home so we can control it. Thankfully, Carson City has all the answers we need for this. As the old state capital, much of its infrastructure was preserved by the Yakuza after the war in their attempt to rule over Nevada, at least until the gangs of New Reno ejected them for causing too much trouble. We've set up an interim state government to run things at the local level, such as maintaining state police to investigate crimes and other issues that don't concern us, and emergency service so army units aren't tied down. Seems the Yakuza, or rather the Japanese, have returned to the city and are restoring their old homes and shops after being chased out. The city's nascent police department and more than a few army units have informed them absolutely no funny business, at least they'd be thrown out into the wasteland again. They've agreed to put their life of crime behind them, as living comfortably under the Enclave guns is better life than out in the waste. We do have to admit that it's nice seeing some of the Japanese architecture return to the city. New Reno gains 2 infrastructure. U.S. Ordinance. Give me 1 second. Drop that back down. U.S. Ordinance. Within the ruins of New Reno lay an old factory guarded by high-end robots, turrets, and partially pit cleaned by scavengers and New Reno gangs. However, inside lay the factory workings of U.S. Ordnance, a pre-war weapons manufacturer. While it never grew as large as the likes of Stent Security or Westech, it was a modest company that focused in the Nevada area. Post-war saw the factory locked down, only to open to the authorities, and the authority happens to be the U.S. government. Inside, we found the factory to be relatively intact, and with a few simple repairs can be returned to full working order, producing weapons and material for our growing army. Focus on basic infantry weapons. Adds U.S. Energy Ordinance, which grants energy weapons research plus 10%, infantry equipment production costs negative 3.5%, or fire teams and demolition plus support research. Let's just do infantry equipment. The Turquoise Solar Project, not far outside of New Reno, lays the ruins, or now former, of the Turquoise Solar Energy Project. Like much of New Reno, is spared destruction from the Great War. However, 200 years of lack of upkeep and maintenance have let it fall into disarray. The gangs of New Reno never ventured to restart the project, at least they'd be targeted by rivals. Now that the law and order has been restored, the Enclave has managed to get the project running at near full capacity again. While it's no Helios 1, the project is more than capable of to power New Reno and nearby settlements for the time being. Finally, I can power my toaster, or good, now we can stop using generators. We're not in a deficit of power right now, are we? Oh, absolutely not. Good, we can now stop using generators. The Protectron Hub. Approaching the massive Roboco factory, the first thing our troops noted was the settlements that had popped up around the factory and how it kept the factory running. One settlement was set up around shipping and receiving, acting as a sort of market center. Further around the massive complex was a settlement in the scraping and recycling that was collected robot parts from across the waste. Another settlement was set up outside and inside the main atrium of production and human resources, had been converted into a sort of hospital. All the settlements were represented in the management wing, and were quite surprised to meet our representatives. Thankfully, we didn't have to push them much to get them to fall under our authority. They admitted that the wasteland was growing more dangerous by the day, and their protectrons were not going to be enough to protect them. They've given over the factory for our use, and a few enterprising types are branded it the Nevada Protectron Company. Hope Roboco doesn't find out. We annex them. Very nice. Sweet. We will not sponsor one. We'll install police forces and connect power grids. Let's see. We were talking about it. I need upgrades on my fire teams. What else do I need? There's a 105 millimeter support equipment. I'm going to need a lot more support equipment. More protectrons, more of these. Some more trucks. More AA. We'll just stop the barge balloons. Getting these attackers. Alright, perfect. Buckaroo buyout. Where's the Buckaroo bandits? I don't even think they're around anymore, are they? No. There's silver in these hills. Water science, hijack the big circle. TV town, hidden metropolis. We might wait on doing some of those just for right now. Best stimulants, no. We'll hold off. Alright, Arsenal Democracy is what we're doing up there. I will try to do the slanter one because I would like the slanters to join us. Daily elite support, the den dwellers instead of the top dwellers. Alright, and then for our teams here, I don't think they should be called armor regiments. Not mountain, not cav. Rangers. We'll call these rangers. I'm gonna add one more power armor, and we will give them. I don't have it researched yet. Okay. Let's give them one more power armor right now. You guys add an extra one, and give you anti-tank for sure. Did send. Should be delivered anytime. General de Sol joins Khazar's Legion. Think that means they join the Legion of Hades? Yes, they do. Tucson is fighting on the side of Volupcius, or Vulpus's. Meyer leads a protest against super mutants. Meyer's coming again, this time leading a protest through Vault City and into the courtyard, flanked by loyal members of the Vault City Guard. The protest was the recent introduction of the super mutant Commonwealth and the gradual acceptance of super mutants into society. A Commonwealth? He gave them a Commonwealth? Are super mutants equal to you or me? Most of them see you or me as food, and yet they are to get equal representative under this so-called government. If it were up to me, I'd have them all rounded up and shot as the monsters they are. We've all heard them talk about the Master, how they wanted to wipe us all out or turn our people into super mutants. Mark my words, they'll use this position to take over the government, and soon those who won't be turned will be killed. As if to make matters worse, Meyer is making moves within the citizen elite to assume power. Ironically, the very bureaucracy he railed against in Vault City is preventing him from amassing too much power, and it seems Lynette is keeping him at bay. That likely won't happen forever, though. He's going to be a problem, isn't he? Lose 15% stability. So the reason why I allowed the super mutants back into the fold is it is the Enclave's issue. Like, they were the ones that created FEV and created super mutants. Super mutants were people they had tested the FEV on, and now they're mutated. So it is like coming to pay for our sins at this point. I do like how it says the low price of crossed out $20, $122. The mutant representatives. Grant looked over the map Callahan had before him, pondering what he was going to have for lunch today. We've got raider attacks here, here, and here. They've learned to listen for the beats of vertebrate blades, and they clear out before it's too late, explained Callahan. Grant nodded his head. He would have had a good thrash and Tato club sandwich after this. It was then his PA come on and his secretary called in rather nervous. Mr. President, the super mutant representatives are here to see you. They were an hour early. Send them in, called Granite. Sorry, Callahan. Callahan just shrugged. Before them both walked in a hulking yellow super mutant wearing a striped business wear with comically oversized lapel. Overall, it appeared to have been made out of 3 different suits all sewn together. Callahan noted the skirt and reinforced heels and leaned into Granite. It's a female super mutant, sir. Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Vanessa. I represent what's left of the super mutants here in New Reno, spoke the super mutant Vanessa. Granite regained his composure and stood up to shake her hand. Hello, President Granite. Interesting to meet one of your kind that's not trying to shoot or eat me. Oh, hello, President Granite. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Feelings mutual as most of my encounters with anyone claiming to be from the government, enclave, or otherwise tends to shoot at me. Or rather did. I and my colleague Adam worked with the rights here in Reno, though we were always overshadowed by Thrad. However, with him gone, perhaps Adam and I can get some work done. Granite looked puzzled. Adam? Gets a vent. Yes, Adam. Vanessa stood to the side as Granite and Callahan heard the sound of movement, and it was fleshy. In the doors to the Oval Office stepped a centaur dressed in a blue striped suit. Jesus Christ, shouted Callahan, and he's pulled out his plasma pistol, and every Secret Service agent in the room readied their weapon at the centaur. Oh, terribly sorry. Maybe I should have done more to warn you, came a voice. Granite looked around to try and find who made it until he eyed the centaur and his mouth dropped. It talks? Well, I guess. There are 3 bodies and a dog in here. Laughed the centaur, though I'd rather not have every gun pointed at me. My second mind is a bit squeamish on guns. Stand down, Granite ordered, though really more in a daze than anything as the centaur waddled up to him. Good day, Mr. President. My name is Adam, only one of my kind being an enlightened centaur. What? I thought that was impossible. And I thought working with the Enclave and being accepted as a citizen was impossible, laughed Adam as Callahan holstered his pistol. First time for everything, I guess. Gets event Adam the Centaur Senator. So you're an enlightened centaur? What does that entail? Asked Granite. Not much, it just means I'm still a sentient being just like anyone else. It, however, makes a unique opportunity, exclaimed Adam. What would that be? Despite what common knowledge, or asked Granite, despite what common knowledge will tell you, us children of the Master are not united. Certain ones can say what they will, but among regular super mutants and Night King, Nightkin, there's a division. Among first generation super mutants and second generation super mutants, there is a division. Even from the third generation up in Oregon, being that they were not created in the Master's image. Vanessa and I have worked hard to create unity. Not that the unity, cohesion, or sorry, not that unity, sorry, cohesion among our kind. As difficult as it is, I am in a unique position as I don't have a bone to pick in this fight, and let me tell you, the dog in me is very unhappy, chuckled Adam. Granite gave out a small laugh. Vanessa and I can work with the super mutants in this country. Wherever it goes, keep them under control. The smart ones will join, and the dumb ones will follow. The violent ones, well, there's always behind the woodshed. I assure you that as a creature who is part dog, I still know a few tricks and can learn more. Callahan leaned to Granite and whispered, Sir, I want off this wild ride. That's hilarious. So do I, Callahan. Gets event in the Super Mutant Commonwealth. I love the banter. Callahan and Granite are like how you would hope. Well, not exactly, but they just make such a good team in this. The Super Mutant Commonwealth. The President today announced the creation of a Super Mutant Commonwealth. While not a full Commonwealth, the idea behind it is for an official structure to work with the super mutants of the nation, not only to address their needs before the government, but also to better work on issues involving super mutants such as violence and other matters. This was met with predictable outrage, with some critics effectively saying that inmates are running an asylum and that it's supposed to make us feel safe. That, of course, is coming off the heels of the president's controversial decision to allow super mutants as full citizens of the nation. Several legal challenges are being put forward to remove this, particularly from efforts in Vault City. However, it is unlikely these efforts will go anywhere in the future. They're here now, lose 15% stability and lose 10% legitimacy. Who knows where this will go? I hate to lose the legitimacy, but we can always build back stability. Do that as well. Actually, while we're thinking about it, close that up. Stability. I guess we can't do those choices anymore down in the south. They're down at the end of that. Alright, we still got 10 days on Arsenals of Democracy. There's our man pads. Do focus fire. Someone did say instead of doing the laser guns, do the other ones. So we will. And then we're going to do the Forge of Freedom. Resistance to occupation. I have both of my... Oh yeah, Vault City's pretty much rebellion. Trying to get as many of these construct power grids as possible. Once they're in production, they will start to core our territories around us. Right now, we're just finishing up the few factories that we were building. Which reality, the scavengers triumph in the ruins of a pre-war site. Our scavengers found something that caught their eye. A caravan of trucks is bringing the expedition's plunder back to Nerino. This is a great triumph. Gain research speed plus 10% for 180 days. Very nice. The Arsenal of Democracy, the Forge of Freedom. Pre-war, America was known as the Arsenal of Democracy, and its industrial capacity was unrivaled. Even the Chinese communists couldn't hope to meet the output of the United States during war, and it was only the Great War that brought the end. Even today, the surviving husks of the pre-war era are still looked to with envy by every supposed post-war industrialist. If we were to reestablish such power, the wasteland would have nothing to stand against us, as we produce weapons and armors by the thousand, while they produce only in the tens. World corporations like Robco, Westtech, meeting alongside new startups like the Vangraphs and Tim Tanks. But of course, there's the fact that was these very corporations that drove the riots at home and sent the world into a death spiral alongside the communists. Long ago, the United States military made everything in-house, and it can do so again, though we would be sacrificing output when compared to what we could be doing. The debate among the military commanders is reaching fever pitch, and the president's words have more than enough sway. Let's not light the world on fire again, strengths of the new world, or power of the old world. Let's do the new world, because we are practically building a new world. I do want to do this one, non-human rights. I know I'm going to lose legitimacy. I know I'm going to lose stability. We might as well just get rid of all of these right now. We can't do the Farson ones. I gotta remember, who is it? The Farsons. Yeah, I think they're all the way over here. It wasn't Lone Tree. BlackRock, I think, maybe got them. Or is it Arbors? No. Lone Tree. Farson Ruins. So it is these guys? It's weird that it doesn't show that they have claims. Anyway, keep going. A new threat of the Tucson's. Forwards from the southern Arizona speaks of a new type of chariot being driven by the riders of Tucson. While witness testimony is sketchy, it appears that Tucson has been working to equip their chariots with an array of anti-tank weaponry, possibly as a means to defeat power armor or the rapidly mechanized forces out west. Analysts have concluded that must be the work of the Aquilian Palatine, working alongside the cult of Nos and Tucson to bring their war chariots into a threat far more deadlier than they once were. In fact, Legion itself has been seen in making use of the chariots, and word is large swaths of Legion forces are trained in the open desert on how to use them, and their new weapons. If it doesn't matter, because Lupius's Legion is pretty much being destroyed by the Legion of Hades. So you got Ruler. They're all Ruler. Great Stampede declared war on the Rad Hazards. Now let's see. We'll do the Warriors Code. There's a little bit of manpower, but that's okay. We could do Free Country of Men. Well, yeah, that'd be worth it. It's almost double the manpower we have right now. We're on American one and all, which is fine. Accepted ghouls and super mutants, which does kill our support, stability and war support. Loyal officers, we can't change that. Trade tariffs, trade income, energy cells, we're good. They got lifelong pensions. We're on war economy. The president. We could do this to start getting rid of some of the others. This gives us stability. Let's just do the non-human rights with the boroughs. The chemtrade, control of New Reno and Vault City, has given the Enclave control over the West pharmaceutical industry. Some suggest the Enclave revive old ties with criminal syndicates and seize the waste chemtrade. Others suggest we legalize the chemtrade in our territory and take a cut. But some reformers claim we'd be better to turn out mentants and antibiotics instead of jet and trade for rare goods, but they're probably huffing Brahmin crap. Let the nation heal. Get chems legalized for 2 civilian and 3 arms workshops, but we lose 10% legitimacy. Legalizing jet is a swing issue for today's youth. 2 civilian workshops for 5% stability. Or get advanced components, electronics, 5 and 5, and 3% legitimacy. Let's heal the nation's wounds. I think that's a way better deal. Radar detection. Maintaining our fleet will be difficult. Or fly reigns from above, but will never match the enemy in the sky 1-to-1, so I try. There are many methods to even the odds and contest the skies. Pragmatic. Even the most scraped together plan represents a critical investment in crime. We're jerry-rigging a nuclear engine, after all, is no small feat. I don't know which one's better. I'll let you guys choose. What should we go down for our air doctrine? Decisive engagement, pragmatic aviation, or elaborate disruption? I think this is the one that we usually want to go down. But if you guys would like to see this one, I think this is the best one, so. Alright, let's do the slanters, non-human rights. Hades Legion has defeated Aurelius's Legion. There you go. Sons of Mars is destroyed. Yeah, the Legion of Hades, I believe, will take over. We can throw on this one just to get the intellectual support back up higher. Yeah, let's start doing that. Pre-war installations gives us 4% ace generation chance, negative 2% supply consumption, and plus 12% air attack. Washington Brotherhood declared war on the Troll Warrens. The Burrows. Non-human rights. We're getting reports out of the interior of Nevada of a strange colony of small furry mutants. We dispatched a vertibird for a flyover, and from what the pilots reported was what looked like the pre-war raccoons with a mismatch of tribal and ballistic weaponry. They didn't shoot out at the vertibird. They weren't too happy by it. Ooh, can I get a coonskin hat? Just like Ben Franklin. Uncompletes focus, non-human rights, completes common enemy pest control. Or welcome to the United States. Gain the burrowing slanter, which gains resource efficiency 10%, and we just annex them outright. Yes. Cool. No, we can't do United. We stand because we don't have South Pass Mine. Where is South Pass Mine? South Pass Mine. There we go. All right, it's part of the Arapaho Rollins Federation. I think we'll be able to just defeat the 80s pretty easily. The Devils of Utah, Eastport. I don't think we have any focuses for the 80s. Let me look. It's spelled out. Sorry. 80s. Oh, we do right there. War goal against the 80s. That's after we defeat the Texiclave. I think the last time we went this one. Yeah, I'm not going to wait that long to defeat them, though. Rock Mountain, we can do that. Let's see, we did strengths of the Old World, or the New World, sorry. Freedom Foundries, or were Freedom Flies. Though I would really like those to be. Can't do that, which is fine. Once we start doing this, though, we have to start building it, like, really fast, so we get power armor, forges. We can do our doctrine, weapons training, new American Army, reform the general staff, revive the Air Force, Rolling Thunder, War Machines. That's a 30-day focus. All right. Done that one. Done non-human rights. These are 20-day focuses. Opening the old hangars. Production. All right. Let's finish out the Sierra depot. I don't think you're holding anybody's territory that I care about. You're holding on to New Canaan. These are part of the Ogden. I wish there wasn't a Canaan in exile. Justify. Ooh, that's going to take forever. Yeah, we might just have to get goals other ways. See, who's winning up here? Troll Warren. or the Immortal. Looks like the Troll Warren's actually winning. 80s declared war on New Hammond. Let's see, what else can we do? We sponsor a railway, which we're not going to do. We'll just do these three. Buckaroo buyout, Elko posse problems in the Silver State. The Secrets Area 51. The Reno Water Science. We'll just do all of them that are available to us. Well, that kills our political power, but we'll start building it back up. It's an empire declared war on the La Terra de los Zotzil. See, they're doing the Reno investments. Healing powder. There's the fighter plane. Do a strategic bomber. We can start getting the better fighters. Let's do public projects. Modify. I'm going to send them some equipment. Pipe rifles. Pipe guns. Once all that. $40. I don't think they could be not built by you is the problem. Yeah, so it has to be equipment done by us. We can do the Wasteland Power Armor. Do like 500 of these. Energy cells. 10,000 because we got what? 350. Let's do 100,000. Don't get anything for that. All right, the Big Circle, the lifeblood of Northern California. The Big Circle now runs between three of our cities, and while back in 2042 is quite dangerous, a lot has changed in 30 years. First and foremost, our glorious return. Regardless, the caravan routes of the Big Circle bring in more than just profits. We can have our troops patrol the caravan routes, ensuring growth of the routes up north and the migration that will follow as others move north to take a chunk of the profits. However, such an action will earn the ire of the NCR. We can impose a heavy tariff or a heavy tax on the road through New Reno, Vault City, or the Den, discouraging growth and increasing profits, keeping the eyes of the bear towards Caesar. The Wasteland economy is an American economy. Gain army experience plus 0.04 daily and trade tariffs plus 10%, but NCR suspicion will go up by 20, or monthly population plus 5% and trade tariffs by 5%. I like this one. Big monthly population plus 5% and trade tariffs plus 5%. There's silver in them hills. Gold 2, aside Vegas and acting as a bombing range, Nevada was home to the largest silver and gold mines on the West Coast. Surprisingly, the rare precious metals are still considered valuable to post-war markets, and we're sitting on mother loads of the stuff. Not to mention, once word gets out that there's a fortune to be made here in Nevada, people will start flocking up to the area like in the gold rush of ancient times. For no one, of course, if we use people, we have to kind of have to take care of them or no one will arrive. We can make up for it with robotic workers who work full-time with no breaks. However, that will cause tension among the populace and no one's going to arrive if robots are doing all the work. We value human miners over machines. Gain monthly population plus 1%, trade tariffs plus 5%, or legacy of Hornwright. Gain weekly stability, gain negative 0.20%, trade tariffs plus 10. Oh no, legacy of Garahan. Raiders of Vault City, or Raider off Vault City. We're getting complaints from caravans headed north, as well as representatives from several settlements seeking protection against a roving raider warband called Elko Posse. Their leader, a Lewis Bradley, seems to be trying to make a den of northeastern Nevada. While normally that wouldn't be a problem on our radar, apparently he's got his sights dead set on Vault City, and the recent finding there makes me think the city is weak. Oh, how wrong he is. Of course, there are criminal charges we can bring. He's running a protection racket. He's expanding the slave trade, but he's been buying and paying in gold and silver mines up there. Which, even if we don't care about the other stuff, the fact that gold and silver is still valued in the wasteland is a godsend. Granted, it's probably just because we were so close to the NCR, but if we were to repurpose that gold, it could allow us to jumpstart our economy beyond the trade caravans and gambling rings of New Reno. Alright, let's go get them. Get a war goal against people we've already conquered. USGS Water Source Center, basically an abandoned government research office that saw funding slashed as the Great War continued. It's our great luck that the USGS office in New Reno was left alone by scavengers and wastelanders, since no one exactly found water at this location. Instead, the real prize are the data sensors and research logs that pinpoint the aquifers that have been replenished over the past couple of centuries. Thanks to low fallout in this area, they're likely to not be as tainted as some of the other areas. Let the water of life flow. Gain 5% legitimacy, 3% stability. Add 10 water in New Reno. Or great, more water for my bubble bath. It's always better just to take a little bit of less resources for the stability and legitimacy. Area 51. Some of the technologies we've heard coming out of our old base at Area 51 are beyond even the Enclave scientists and surpass what we thought pre-war engineers were capable of. All that technology could be easily put to reuniting the states, but instead they are being used to keep errant wastelander hovels and tents warm at night. The treasure trove of Area 51 is rightfully government property, and we can't have a series of tribal settlers or raiders squatting over it with no idea what they have at their fingertips. Worse, if they actually figure out what they do have, we proposed an immediate plan to conquer the base. We gained the Annex War against the Sky Reavers. You have to wonder where they got these ideas. And hidden metropolis. Stories from caravanners and records from the followers tell of a strange hidden settlement deep in the Nevada desert. A strange idyllic town populated by cheerful and upbeat citizens who seem oblivious to the world around them. While the reports say they outwardly appeared friendly, they have been to the death of at least 2 caravan expeditions and are capable of ripping arms right off a person. The followers' records state that they have made contact with them, but kept a far distance due to their vastly superior technology. While normally a perfect town in the wasteland is always cause for concern, a city with superior technology to ours we cannot allow. No, sir. Send out an expedition, a heavily armed one. It's not Westworld. All right, so. Nope, it's not what I wanted to do. Someone did tell me in the comments, if you control right click a unit, I hit the wrong button again. You can support attack instead of moving your. I'll try to show you guys when I get the armies down here. Yakuza should be getting. Oh, did they not get anything? No legal transport. How is there no transport route? You're literally a part of me. Power surge detected, as the sapper teams had already been deployed throughout the facility to maintain and restore any available surge protectors and managed to contain it to a small subsection of the facility. Our engineers predict minimal power loss, but it may take some time to replace every blown surge protector, and it gives quite a fright to our crew. Excellent job from our engineers. Let us put this relic back online at last. Rebuilding the airstrip. Click in here. Recovering the archives. The hangars in the depot have been closed for well over 200 years, and we had to cut them with plasma cutters just to gain access. Inside, however, was something none of us were expecting: an entire fleet of VB-01 vertibirds, the pre-war models of the Enclave workhorse. While not as well armored as the VB-02 gunships or having as large capacity as the VB-02 transports, the VB-01 is a versatile utility platform that can perform a variety of functions on the battlefield that the other two find difficult in accomplishing. We've even found technical manuals and flight instructions following, allowing us to train a new generation of Army pilots. Sadly, the VBO-1s we found are in a sorry condition, and many seem to have been cannibalized for parts. Thankfully, technicians are looking them over and assuring us that it is possible to reproduce these aircrafts using the facilities here at the depot. Add technology vertibird support squadron. Ooh, very nice. The Sky Reavers. We are sorry. We're not really that sorry.
Enclave here.
We will destroy them and be right up against legions of Hades. Well, if we don't have a way... No, we're not gonna... It's not good that we can't give them anything. Once our troops get some stability back, we'll... Not stability.
Enclave here.
What am I trying to think of right now? Organization. Man, my brain's not working right now. Shut down, enable the fallen broadcast. Yeah, we'll do that. And it costs 215. We're gonna pay the bottle caps, knock it down. Construct power grids. Declare war. Give it a minute. 180 days is a much better deal. Where's McMillan Air Force Base at? Create some routes. Put some money in. Arapaho Rollins Federation joins the Daughters of Hecate. Spies compromised. We received an emergency transmission from our espionage into the new California Republic. They claim to have been compromised and have abandoned their base of operations as a result. Days away from the border and on foot, they are asking for emergency evacuation. Heroic extractions and no man left behind looks good in action. In after action reports, but we need to consider our operational security as a whole. Yeah, send an extraction team with a vertibird. Send out the spies again. Here's a weekly stability. See how much this costs, and then we'll do that one or not. Well, it's not Westworld. As our expedition closed in on the town, they were beset by a horrifying sight. Whoever came here before us left the place in ruins, and bodies littered the streets. The eerie quiet was broken when our troops were set upon by horrifying abominations. Heavily damaged humanoid automa acting as if they were from a pre-war town. They ever appeared to be malfunctioning as they began shooting lasers from their eyes after claiming our troops looked cold. Thankfully, power armor is highly resistant to lasers, and we returned fire in kind. However, the reason for the massive bodies became aware as more of the monsters came out of the little woodworks, and we were forced to fall back. There must be hundreds of the things, and they're all malfunctioning. We need to act fast. We declare war on TV Town.
That's a no one.
Hurry, move. Probably could have sent somebody faster than these guys, but... Alright, TV Town's been taken.
Enclave Maincom.
Get you guys back. Restoring the archives, warrior equipment, M16A7s. Let's do restore the reactor. Funny enough, for if anybody is interested, we will get the new lasers as well. I had an M16 A2 when I was deployed overseas. Are these actually better? Yeah, a little bit. Start building them up. Another Legion monster. A series of grainy photos from a trader in Arizona were published yesterday, giving rise to hysteria about the latest developments out of Arizona. Reports indicate the Legion has managed to wrangle a mutated pre-war monster called an elephant. Analysts have determined the beast to be 20 feet tall and able to mash a man in power armor with its trunks. Many have begun to nickname the monsters as Hannibal and believe that Caesar is breeding the monsters to let loose in California to kill as many as possible ahead of the advancing armies. Leaders are asking for citizens to remain calm, saying that the combined might of the army and air force will keep them safe, despite mounting evidence of a new and terrifying legion. Alright, this is just getting stupid. Your dual miniguns of one as well as lasers replacing them. Save weight. Do medevac. So let's do both of these. Because we can put them in as support for our troops. Construction wise, about finished with these. Declare war. Push through. Well, the Yakuza has built more. Nitisatapi. Declare war on the MacArthur. Ooh. Oh, a Native American tribe. Oh, the Sisters of Steel are also pushing them hard. I've never actually played as the MacArthur detachment, so I don't know how fun they are, but it looks fun. The end of TV Town. Our troops are shifting through the wreckage of what's come to know as TV Town in a strange simulation of idyllic pre-war town stuck in what appears to be a loop of a TV show. There were a few escape attempts over the centuries, but the town director, a Zax computer at the town's core, maintained order. Mysteriously, we have no idea who did this. There are no corporate markings, no Vault-Tec property, and not anything from the pre-war U.S. Army. Whoever did this, did it completely outside the scopes of our knowledge. Many of the androids, as we've realized they were, are being scrapped for parts, but their circuits are too fragile and weak for us to reverse engineer them at this time. How'd they end up here? We'll launch an investigation. TV Town State is now a core of New Reno. So if I click on a unit like this, and I control right click,
This is Enclave main com.
they're supposed to
A few more moments and I'll have your
assist.
sorry ass in a sling.
I'll have to figure that one out. Granite and Bishop at Golgotha. Today, Mr. Bishops was taking his people Granite to the infamous Golgotha just outside New Reno. Granite noticed that Bishop's expression was more serious than usual today. As Clausewitz said, war is a continuation of politics by other means. Sometimes there are people you cannot bring to your side or be convinced to stand down. In that case, war is the only option, Bishop stated without a hint of emotion. Mr. Bishop walked over to a small mound. This here is Maria Lopez. She was a follower of the apocalypse. She ran a clinic where she offered medical treatment free of charges. But she also tried to bring me down, calling me a tyrant. I guess she was correct in the end, even if she failed. Granite felt disgusted. You murdered an innocent woman? Yes, I do not deny that, Bishop replied emotionlessly. My point is you will have many opponents, devils, saints, and all in between. And if they do not stand down, they must be destroyed. No exceptions. How many purists did your goons put down? I know their graves are over there. We can count. Granite was no stranger to taking lives. After all, he was a mercenary commander. He had given orders that resulted in the death of enemies, and sometimes his own troops. But to take the lives of innocent civilians, even if they oppose you, Granite hoped he would never have to do something this dramatic or drastic. Politics have no relation to morals. Gain 200 political power. Thank you. 230. Now it's 103, so power grids. Where is it at? Improve workers' conditions. We're just going to do that. Try to, because our stability is trash right now. Try to get our stability up a little bit. Or we'll wait till the war's over. That'll be the better choice.
Enclave here. I have a few more moments and I'll have your sorry ass in a sling. Yeah, that's a no one.
I thought we could break through right there. No legal transport. Slander service. We just received a proposal from our liaison from the boroughs. The boroughs appear to have been gripped by patriotic fever, and this place is openly displaying their newfound love of country. Many of the younger generation, however, has been gripped a bit stronger and has sent forward a petition to allow to serve in the United States Armed Forces. The proposal for this, of course, was expected to be stopped at lower levels, but several officers are noting that they can make excellent sounds, able to scurry far ahead of our advance and remain undetected by enemy forces. Who wouldn't think twice of small furry mammals watching them from a distance? Of course, opening the doors to non-human mutants is a can of worms. Many more traditional thinkers, both in and out of uniform, find to be in poor taste. I guess their size has an advantage, or I'm building an army, not a zoo. No, they do have an advantage. Restore the reactors done. Let's see. Our new base operations. Ooh, stay 20% stability and 4 arms workshops. Perfect. Stability. Legions of Hades defeated Tucson. Yes, so it does look like the Legions of Hades has won. Thanksgiving. Americans enjoyed the return of the 4th of July so much that the president is thinking about restoring more holidays. One of his favorite Enclave traditions is Thanksgiving, where we carve the roast death claw and eat sweet potato pie. We can revive this tradition for the entire country, ensure people are thankful for friends and family, for stability, the Enclave for protecting friends and family, 5% legitimacy, or low, low prices from the Crimson Caravan. Right now, we need stability, so friends and family. Aw. Scavengers found nothing. Get out of my office. Power grids. Construction. Standardized tools is done. Now we're starting to build these. Gaining 78,000 bottle caps at a time. Standing Rocks Infinity Knights. New base operations for that stability. Negative 30% power armor production. Oh, we're doing that. We're going to finish out the Fortress Sierra. That's just too good. Radio detection. I do need to start working on my Navy. Someone in the comments keeps saying, your Navy, and I'm like, oh yeah, my Navy. We're bottled up down here with the supply issue. I can't believe there's not a supply hub going to us. Maybe I did make a mistake doing this. Cancel or modify. I do it now. Do that. 400 of those. Oh, maybe it's these that they can't because they don't have any waterways. The Hercules and the Persians. See if they can get that. Should tell me to, right? No legal transport. Maybe it'll change. They're last standing like crazy down here. So we got our negative 30% production cost. Power armor. Let's do reopen the Sierra Laboratory for Sierra Labs. Come on, boys. How many soldiers have we lost? 845. Maybe I made a mistake with the Yakuza, but I just wanted to see what would happen. It's not there. Right here. I need the maintenance company and the logistic companies, or the medical companies. Well, it's not a fruit basket. We've heard rumors of an Enclave department up in Wyoming and mountain wastes for some time. Today, however, was quite a shock when several vertebrates appeared over the Sierra Army Depot and landed. Outstepping a ragtag band of Enclave soldiers, each looking worse for wear. Among them was Colonel Elaine Santiago, along with her daughter and survivors from MacArthur Air Force Base. Grant himself was quite shocked, but invited her and her top commanders to one of the infamous roasted Deathclaw dinners. After talking through the evening, Santiago and her survivors were happy to join up with the West Coast remnants in Nevada. What few men she had left could easily be aligned in the army, and Granite noted her experience both in combat and politics would be of a huge use as the new Reno navigated the new world they all found themselves in. Ellen Santiago, Martha Santiago, and Daniel Carter joins New Reno.
Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. This is Enclave Maincom.
3 power armor and
Enclave
1
here.
remnants. Cool. Free workers condition for 180 days. Try to get our stability up. Could sabotage the relationship with the She, but capture of the war and the mutant armies of the Territorial have fallen to the Merlic tribes. Let's get Slander's scout equipment being built. And we'll switch you over to common laser energy. Excuse me. Resistance being gained in the slanters. I don't think we've built our first one of these yet. They take a little while. My lord, we can't break through these guys.
Gotcha.
We got transport, gunships. Throw out these guys. Start getting them built up.
Enclave here.
Reopening the Sierra Laboratory. Our restoration and expansion of the Sierra Army Depot research facilities have made them the envy of any wasteland lab and rivaling our facilities on the rig. Our scientists can now work in a clean, safe, and secure environment with some of the most advanced systems in the known world. The question of what to do with them remains an issue. Some say we should open up a new research and development department with our expanded capabilities. Others saying we can be used in projects already ongoing. Gain 1 research slot or 3% research speed. Get the additional research. And then we'll just do Fortress Sierra just to finish it out. Start getting black dragons.
Nice, and your video feed working.
So if I control, I need to reread his
You can say that
comment.
again. Excellent.
Scorpios. Ballista. There we go. There's a nice pocket.
A few more moments and I'll have your sorry ass in a sling.
Pocket.
Enclave Maincom.
Bet you it'll tell me. Thought it was control right click.
A few more moments and I'll have your sorry ass in a sling. Enclave here.
Anyway, we took Area 51. Find all power grids. Power all. So you're connected to the grid, and that cores the state. Perfect. Yeah, we've wiped out the Sky Reavers now. Fortress Sierra, what remains of TV Town? Picking through the remnants of what was TV Town, it's clear whatever or whoever set this place up had technology well in advance of our own. If this was a pre-war thing or a post-war thing, we don't really know. However, some of our researchers think something might come of this, given the raw power of those androids we faced. Other more pragmatic members of the government, however, are keen to see the area turned over for a settlement and have it given over to production, given the advanced technology in the hidden city would greatly benefit our cause. We will raise the place, confiscate the technology, and set up a settlement, or our research teams will be there. Team there will get back to us at some point. Yeah, let's set up a research station. Doing pretty good on people right now. So we're gonna get Area 51. Let's do the Cochise AI. Sky Reavers are finally defeated.
Why isn't your video feed working?
They don't want it to be working.
The fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
There you go again. Choose insignia. Where is it at? Where is it at? Right there, the Third Army. So, if you all were curious, I actually was overseas with the Third Army. That was who's in charge over there. And I did serve under the Third Army, so. Enclave Science Command. Mojave Command. Canada Command. Air Cavalry. Marines. Rangers. ICOM Special Forces. Pacific. Central. Atlantic. Main com. Let's just do this one or whatever one. Yeah, it don't matter. None of that stuff really matters like that. We're picking up a signal. Unit stationed out near the Mojave wasteland are reporting they are picking up radio signals coming from the northern Mojave past Nellis Air Force Base, and they're of Enclave origins. Checking our records, we have no unit stationed in the region. It might be other remnants. Given all that's going on, this could be our big break. If it is, I'll take it. Gets the event Mojave Enclave. No, the Brotherhood of Steel was there. The Mojave Enclave, we managed to establish contact with General Jameson of the Enclave. What few records we have made no mention of General Jameson, though we do have a Captain Jameson in our records. He is a subordinate to General Rowlandson, who was sent out into the Mojave to secure Nellis Air Force Base in the Hoover Dam just before the rig went down. For obvious reasons, they were never heard from again. Is it possible they survived? Then we can use all the help we can get, and especially a band of survivors who have managed to hold out this long. Dispatch a search team. Last of the Western Enclave. We'll finish up with that, and then we'll install on the power grids. I wish it would show me. Let's construct all. They ever get this? Nope. Scour for Triumph Division attack and defense plus 5%. So healing powder. Alright. I was waiting for the Western Enclave thing to prop, and then we might finish. How many units do you have? Not that many. If I defeat the Legions of Hades first, then attack the NCR. Let's do dog programs. I was really hoping the Western Enclave thing would proc. White Legs, declared war, Crazy Horns. North Cougar taken in a raid. Who? Oh, up here. Versus the Broken Coast. In an ironic twist of fate, the capital of the Broken Coast pirates, North Cougar, has fallen to raiding parties sent by the forces of the Silex Nation. Naval infantry landed on the beaches of Upper Columbia River in the dead of night, catching the small security detachment in northern Vancouver off guard. Official sources state that before enemy reinforcements could be signaled, these raiding parties quickly secured key infrastructure in the city, swiftly eliminating leadership figures in the enemy's change of command and entrenching themselves at intersections, on high rises, and in abandoned stores. Before long, the main Salic Nation force caught up to the reinforcement. These forward raiding parties and advanced the front line in the war against the Broken Coast. Although the Broken Coast is still very much in the fight, we suspect that this attack has thrown their command structure into a frenzy. It remains to be seen if the Salic Nation will be able to keep up the momentum from this victory. Can the Salic Nation hold on to North Vancouver? Time will tell. There it is. Last of the Western Enclave, our search team is reporting they made contact with the Mojave Enclave, or rather what is left of them anyway. They've been hiding out in the Mojave under the NCR's nose and were hesitant to reveal themselves during our broadcast back in 2274. But when they detected our signals coming up much closer than the depot, they managed to reach out. According to our search teams, they are not in the best shape, as attrition and intervening 30 years has left them no better station than we were back in 2075. Or 2275. They've been holed up in an old command bunker northeast of Vegas, keeping the place barely functional through scavenging missions in and around Vegas. As for their personnel, it looks like how the depot was. Those were around during the fall had aged, their children making up the bulk of their strength of numbers, and there's a new generation being trained for birth, all wielding the same power armor and weapons they had since the fall of Navarro. They're in a sorry state, and we are glad that some sort of enclave force have come back to the power in the West. Speaking with General Jameson, it turned out they went through their own little schism between hardliners and radicals, akin to our reformers and purists. Thankfully, the radicals won. Otherwise, we might be having a resurgent purist in our midst. Additional vertebrates have been dispatched to bring them to Fort Sierra and get them settled in. I'll meet them when they arrive, get the event in the Sierra and Mojave enclaves. All right, with that, I'm going to end the episode. I know I was going to say, but it's going just a little bit long, and I don't want it to go very, very much longer. So I hope you guys have enjoyed episode 6, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.